Alright, BobalosRex here. In today's video, we're talking about Hearthstone storylines that I want to have happen in WoW. Now, we know Hearthstone is canon in WoW. We know there's a WoW multiverse, which actually means all Hearthstone is canon. Dun dun dun. But I really wanted to talk about storylines in Hearthstone. If you don't know, there's a cool Hearthstone quest up here. In Azure Span. It's a really cool quest line. But yeah. So we're talking storylines in Hearthstone that I think should be brought to WoW. Alright? Now, the first one I'm going to talk about. Here, let's bring up good old Hearthstone here. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, I was checking the settings. So yeah, so the first time, essentially, storyline that I'd want to see in Hearthstone. Hold on, we'll go back. Yeah, no, it should be here. So the first storyline that I would love to see. Well, this one we actually kind of see. So you know the whole Asmorn timeline where the Lich King won? Well, I can imagine it also be a timeline where all the big players got turned into Death Knights. You got Malfurion the Pestilent. I'm surprised this wasn't touched upon, dude. Deathstalker Rexxar, Frost, Lich, Jaina. Why didn't we see her in the Asmorn timeline? How cool would that be? You got Uther of the Ebon Blade. We got Shadow Reaper Anduin. Because with the timelines and stuff, and the Warcraft multiverse, we can see these alternate versions. Valyria the Hollow. Oh yeah, Thrall was good. Thrall, Deathseer. Freaking awesome, dude. And then you have Blood Reaver Gul'dan. And then we had Scourge Lord Garrosh. Dude. But yeah, so in this Hearthstone expansion, it was the Hearthstone heroes go to the Lich King and he's like, you know what? You're my Death Knights now. We even have Arthas. Even have Arthas. But yeah, so they essentially go to attack the Lich King, and he turned them all into Death Knights, and they're like, we're gonna be Death Knights now. And this was such a cool expansion. I loved it. I loved having the heroes. And in the Asmorn timeline, I'd imagine them be a part of it. If not in one of the timelines they are. Could I see that happening in WoW? Like in our universe? No. A lot of these characters are already dead. But I would love to see this. If we do have another timeline thing, I would love to see that timeline bleed over like that. Now, the next storyline I would love to see be in WoW, and can very well be in WoW. Like, this could be happening right now. And that's Ashes of Outland. You may be like, what is Ashes of Outland? Well, here, let's go to the story mode for Ashes of Outland so you can actually see. Oh, that's duels. That is not where I wanted to go. So let's head to the solo adventures over here. Alright, so yeah, there was the Frozen Throne one.
Crown, come for
From
the terrible
top.
power.
Yeah, look at this art.
Stay, because you're dead.
Dude, I love Hearthstone. I love Hearthstone. It's such a good game. Alright, so Ashes of Outland.
Come in, my friend. Begin the show.
Trial by Fellfire. So this, we learned about Ariana,
And woe.
Starseeker, and we learned about the Rusted Legion. So essentially, it was Outland. Time had passed. What happened? The Legion there started building up, rebuilding, and became the Rusted Legion. Alright? And we got Demon Hunters, in Hearthstone, which was awesome. But we also got this whole Rusted Legion in Outland, and I think that would be amazing to have. Alright, and we could have awesome characters like Arcspore Mischiffin in his alpha form, Mischiffin Prime. So it's essentially like a character, and then you'd see what they'd become after the Rusted Legion. Either buffed up, mechanized, and all kind of stuff. And I thought this was a really cool expansion, a really cool take. So let's look at so we got Zixor and Zixor Prime. You know, we see how he got mechanized. Alright. Then we had... she didn't have a Prime. No, yeah, she did. So we had her and her Prime, which is just a Void. She didn't get that big of a globe up. You know, she just got a little voidy. We have Murgurgle. This was the Murloc that we brought over. Alright? And look at what we've done. That would be... Dude, that's the storyline I want to see continued from Outland. We freaking brought Murlocs to Outland. Okay, then we have Reliquary of Souls Prime. Look at that. Some of the classes didn't really get the whole Legion stuff. Like, see, Akama Prime is just Shadow Akama. You know? But other classes... Lady Vosh, Reborn. Look at her. Mechanized. Mecha Snakes. That would be a cool thing. The Legion reviving Lady Vosh. You have Conrathod. He could be brought back. I think he is back. Kargath Blade Fist Reborn. Look at that, dude. That would be great. I think this could work, dude. This would be an interesting way to get more Legion stuff back. You know, us go back to Outland and you got full Legion stuff. They're building back. You know, they're just trying to exist. Maybe we don't. You know what? I don't even know what the big bad would be in Outland 2. I just think it's cool to think about Outland after the fact, you know? And I think this idea for a Rusted Legion in Hearthstone was really cool. And I would love to see it in some form back in WoW. I mean, look at this guy. Oh, and they drove around on these freaking motorbikes and stuff. Here, let's see if I can see something like that. Here. Let's open up the story. So I had it all complete. So look.
The dust through that dark arana.
You got these guys, Baltharak.
Against our daring outcasts. Now,
you know, we got in Hearthstone, we got to get a whole bunch of people together.
I heard
an orc, a naga.
I've taught you. It's not
you got an Arakoa over here. A Mecha Arakoa.
Magtheridon.
And then Magtheridon Prime. Brought back as a machine. Got a Rusted Ogre. A Mecha Imp.
Wait! No! My friend who left our crew!
Oh yeah, spoiler. And then we had Mecha Jaraxxus! I would love to see Mecha Jaraxxus.
Shando, teacher, I've heard your call.
I would love to see Mecha Jaraxxus, dude, in WoW. But yeah, so that was Ashes of Outland, Rusted Legion, Outland Return. I thought that was great. I think that should be in WoW. Alright, so we talked about Death Knight stuff. We talked about Outland stuff. What else do we got? Madness at the Darkmoon Fair. I would love maybe a raid, maybe just a little event, and then we wake up like nothing happened. But I would love to see... Yeah, let's head back to the collection. I would love to see a whole Madness at the Darkmoon Fair raid where we figure out the clues and we're like, oh my god, there is old god stuff. You have Il'gynoth come back. You have all this demonic and freaking old god stuff happening in the fair. And then at the end of the raid, we just wake up and it's like, did something happen? We fight some of the people in the fair, the carnies. And then, like I said, we just wake up and it's like, what? Did something happen? Get Gahoon. Look at him at the fair. He's having a good time. You got Zanesh. Bring them back. You got Nameless one over here. But yeah, I would love to see Madness at the Dark Moon Fair as like a random raid. And it'd be like a dream. Maybe it's just like a refreshing raid. Like, it's added, and then there's just always a part. And it's just like your character goes through it, and then you wake up and you're like, did something happen here at the fair? Ticketus. Look at him corrupted. I love that mechanic, corrupted. It was so good. But yeah, I would love to see a Madness at the Dark Moon Fair manifest as a raid or something. Alright. Even Moonfang showed up. And look at good old Silas here. You got N'Zoth. Alright, what? That was his look here? He didn't have a whole fair look. Alright, but see, look, Cthulhu's at the fair. Yogg-Saron's at the fair. Even Yasharaj was at the fair. But N'Zoth over here like, I'm gonna chill. And then we even had the Dark Moon Rabbit. But yeah, I would love to see Madness at the Dark Moon Fair manifest in WoW. I mean, we all know there's some stuff going on at the Dark Moon Fair. I would love to see that come out, and then we just wake up on the island like, did something happen? Did I do a raid? And Silas just be like, hey man, you were running around the fair hitting stuff. You were losing it. I hope you're doing better now. You must have had some bad funnel cake or something. Here, come on back to the fair. And you're just like, oh yeah. Yeah, sure, I'll go back. Dun dun dun! I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. Alright. So, there's one more storyline that I think is highly relevant. But I'm going to talk about the lead-ups, and I would like to see the lead-ups, but I would also just like to see this storyline in WoW, and it is very topical. Some people may already know what it is. So, 1 year of Hearthstone had a whole telling of stories. It was one big story told throughout the year. Alright? They had that a couple of times, and then they kind of pulled back from that, which is fine by me. You know, you see Festival and Titans, there's no story being told here. It's just Festival was fun, Titans was fun, and it's this thing. You know, you had Sunken City, Nathria, and Lich King, March of the Lich King, all come out. Alright? Not all related. Castle Nathria was fun, Sunken City was fun, and Lich King was fun. Alright. But, if you remember, we had the whole Baron Stormwind Alterac Valley set. That was a whole year about the mercenaries. The year before it was more disjointed again. Outlands, Skullomance, Dark Moon. It was fun. But, the year right here had a big old story. And it started in Rise of Shadows with the League of Evil. You had Madame Lazul. You had... I did talk about these characters yesterday. You had Heistbear and Togwaggle. You had Hagatha. Swamp Queen. And then you had he himself, Supreme Archaeologist Rafam. So he created the League in cahoots with There was also Dr. Boom. I would love to see Dr. Boom come back for real. Alright, this is great. Alright, so we have Blastmaster Boone. We have the whole League of Evil rising up with this expansion called Rise of Shadow. And honestly, and then you had the Explorers League combating them, which we have seen in Dragonflight. We've seen the Explorers League, but we had the Rise of Evil. Alright, then in the next expansion, as I was just talking about, we had the League of Explorers, Saviors of Uldum. And let's just say we had a jammin' song with Saviors of Uldum, okay? I love the Uldum music. The Saviors of Uldum song, watch it if you haven't. So then we had Elise. We had Bran. Alright, everyone knows Bran. We had Reno, the Relicologist, who may or may not be a dragon in WoW. You had Sir Finley. Alright, another great character. A great Murloc character for sure. And they were essentially saving Uldum from... Here, there's actually a solo mode for this. So let's take a look at the 2 solo adventures that led up to that. So you had...
Join me for the greatest criminal
Here it
undertaking
is.
in the history of villainy.
So the League of Evil had this Dalaran heist. They invaded Dalaran and they stole treasures, okay? And this was all a part of Rafram's plot. To then go to Uldum.
Fire, madness, Murlocs. Rafam has unleashed the plagues of Uldum, and only we can stop him.
The plagues of
Explorers
Uldum.
to me.
So she gathers up the League of Explorers and they go to stop Rafam from getting all the plagues. But it turns out, alright, so there were the 4 plagues. You had
Plague of Murlocs are pouring
Plague of
forth
Murlocs.
this ruined city. We need to get to the bottom of this. Everyone who ventures across this desert has gone mad. I think it might be the source of the 2nd plague.
the Plague of Madness. Alright. Then you
We're
had
ready to take on the tomb now. Let's go.
the Plague of Death.
Hold
The
some
Plague
imagination, then.
of Wrath.
I know that place well.
And the Plague Lord of Flame. But here's the thing. They didn't actually stop the Plague of Death. And Rafam was able to take the Plague of Death, and that led into here. Let's just load it up here. The final arc of the year.
This is the big one, folks. We're taking the fight
Descent
to
of
Eden.
Dragons, where Rafam would use the plague that he stole to revive Galakrond. Alright? And this whole expansion was about dragons in Hearthstone. And we seem to be in an expansion about Hearthstone.
They want Dalaran back, do they?
Look at
Let
this.
them come.
Big dragon fight. We get to see Galakrond.
It is just you and me now.
And the funny part is
Down
if
the
you
city,
win as
everyone.
evil,
I'm going after Rafam.
he realizes that everything sucks and he has to fight Galakrond. He's like, oh my god, I fucked up. But yeah, I would love to see the whole League of Evil raising Galakrond, or at least Rafam and the Primalists. Rafam has to be involved if we get Galakrond back, in my mind. And yeah, I would love to see... I mean, look at this expansion. You had dragons. You had, yeah, see, New Ysera. You had Varanus. You had Malagos in this expansion, even though Malagos is gone. But, you know, you had Znor's Dormu new printed card. They did. You know, and then all the League of Evil classes got to get versions of Galakrond amped up with the Clash's special power. So you had Void Galakrond. Then you had, oh, this dragon Waxadread. I would love to see him live in WoW. And then you had poison Galakron, this necrotic energy Galakron, which is probably close to the Galakron we got in game. And then you had elemental Galakron, which is also probably a part of him. You know, we also see Fel Galakron. And the Nether Dragons made a return, which is cool. And then these elves. I love those elves. I want my little Fel wings. And then you had big armored up Galakron over here. And then a reprint, a new Deathwing card. But yeah, I would love to see... And then where's this guy, dude? We gotta see this guy, Kronks. If I see Kronks somewhere, dude, I'm gonna know what's up. But yeah, I would love to see a Rise of Shadow, Saviors of Uldum, Rise of Galakron storyline manifest in WoW, or at least maybe we see hints of Rafam and this Galakron raising story in Dragonflight. I've been hoping for that a lot. I really hope we see that. And those have been storylines that I would love to see from Hearthstone moved into WoW. Because, one, I love Hearthstone. I love the silliness it does. And also the cool... It does cool stuff, too. It's not just silly. It's cool. And I would love to see some of the stuff that I talked about in my last two videos... This video and the last video... move from Hearthstone into WoW. I'd really love to see it. We've already seen some stuff move from Hearthstone to WoW, and I would love to see more. I love this game. I love WoW. And that's it. The rest of this... so it's a new week after this video. So we'll be back to normal programming. I've been talking about Hearthstone and WoW enough for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.